Today we are doing something new, and I'm excited that you're with us, and thank you for being here. Today is going to be a jam-packed show of me and someone who I have so much respect for, and you're going to love. For any of you who are new to the show, welcome. Thank you for being here on the Daily Tricka Show. In this new format, we are doing on Tuesdays live podcasts, so we can't edit them. They're just coming out here as what they come out as. And we're going to be interviewing a different business owner and guest each Tuesday. So today we picked a very special guest, Mr. Prosperity, David Selvin. And this is a man I'm going to introduce to you. And he's someone, for those of you who may know him already, you're in for a treat and a discovery into his world and some ways he can actually serve your business and help it grow too. And more importantly, though, is the father, the husband, the man that David is. And he has an incredible heart. He shows up at events and is always bringing some super unique or cool gift for Leo and myself, and just very special. His amazing wife, amazing kids, and I'm just grateful to have a friend like this. And I want you to hear, while he is an extremely successful business owner and someone who has made incredible amounts of money, six-figure months, countless times, and runs in a great real estate investing business, I want you to hear from the heart of him. And then also he's going to give you some cool nuggets about how you get your business funded. He recently got this guy funded for over $300,000 in interest-free business credit funding. And it blew my mind as he shares with me the ins and outs of credit. Your credit's an asset, how you can use it. So we're going to get into the heart. We're going to get into the business. We're going to get into the life of my friend, David Selvin.
Hey, Andrew, how you doing today?
What's up, brother? I'm doing so amazing. It's good to be on with you. I know we talk often, but something very special is happening today. You, outside of Papa Schlag, who came on live with us a few weeks ago of the Daily Show, you are the very first podcast guest on Podcast Tuesdays. So welcome. And the first of many. I'm glad you're here, man. How's the energy today?
It's awesome, man. I'm doing good. Had a great morning. Just been up and running since about 5 a.m. So it's good.
I love that. I know we have our in our mastermind, we have our men's call on Friday mornings. And so many times you're out getting it or have already got it at the gym and making the moves. And you're an inspiration to many, man. So tell us, for anybody who doesn't yet know you, who you are, where you're from, what you do.
Yeah, so my name is David Selvin. A lot of people fondly call me Mr. Prosperity. If you hang around me long enough, you'll understand why. And basically what I do is I invest in real estate, I do credit enhancement, and I help businesses like other business owners get multiple six figures in business funding, unsecured business funding that's not backed by any collateral like real estate or anything of that nature. Originally from Los Angeles, California, grew up some time in Boston and spent the majority of my life in the Bay Area of California, in Oakland, California. And now I'm here in Houston, Texas.
I love that. So I want you to keep going. I just realized my camera is off center and it makes the bookcase look crooked. So I'm going to go adjust my camera and you keep sharing with them some things about Mr. Prosperity in Texas. I'll be right back.
Well, one thing about Texas is it is hot. I wasn't expecting it to be this hot, but it is hot. And Texas is a great place when it comes to real estate investing. This is a place that you guys want to have your eyes on. There's a lot of development coming in. There's a lot of businesses bringing jobs here, which in turn, when businesses bring jobs in turn, now you have a 4 times fold of population coming in because you got all the ancillary jobs coming in to support the people that's going to work at that business. So Houston, Texas is a great place to invest.
I love that, man. Thanks for sharing that. And thank you for being here. It's such a fun time every time we get to hang out. I know you and your family's about to go on a trip. I'm excited to hear how that is.
I appreciate it.
All of you who's listening to this, you're going to want to take lots of notes because David's going to show you how to get business credit funding. He's going to show you some tips and tricks for your credit, whether you're a 550 or whether you're at one of those 820s. He's going to give you some tips and trick because your credit is an asset, right? You talk about assets and liabilities on a personal financial statement. You say, I own A, B, and C, and I owe A, B, and C. And your credit is an asset that you can plug in and use because there is institutions out there who want to give out millions of dollars, but they need to find someone who is what they call credit worthy. So we're going to talk about that. But before we get to how to get these guys 6 figures in funding who might be listening to this live or replay, tell us a little bit more about what took you from the Bay Area in California to Texas.
Well, 2 reasons. First reason is my son. I was looking, right? California has some crazy laws, political views on things, which doesn't really align with me, as well as they have some huge tax for state income tax. Texas has no income tax. So I was looking at states that have no state income tax. And I said to my son, if we could live anywhere in the world, where would you want to live? And he says, I want to live right here in this little town just outside of Houston. I want to go to this high school because of this, and here's the demographics of it. And he had it all lined up and mapped out. And I said, okay, I'm going to do everything in my power to get him here. And that's exactly what I did.
I love that, man. How old's your son?
He's 15.
Yeah. Talented young man too.
Yes, 4.0, grade point average. Just got his learner's permit. Star football player. I'm super proud. I'm a proud dad.
I love that, man. As you should be. Such a gift. That's the heart of Mr. Prosperity, and I love that about you, man. And I'm glad you're sharing that. Now, your wife, Uasia, and your daughter, Yasmin, also work the real estate investing business with you. So give everybody a little bit of some nuggets around real estate investing right now and what you and Uasia and Yasmin are seeing in terms. I know you do wholesales. I know since being part of our world, you're doing the terms business, the creative financing strategies. What are you doing virtually, in person? What are you finding in the markets right now?
So we've done virtual real estate investing for a very long time, living in California, and we were investing in the Midwest. And now Houston's my backyard, so we do majority of our deals here in Houston. We've also expanded into the Louisiana market, and we're looking at some other Midwest markets up there by you and the rest of the crew up there. And so virtual investing is really easy. It's just all about having a team and the boots on the ground. And as far as what we're doing here is we're primarily focused on residential, and we're primarily focused on wholesaling. We do minor fix and flips, but that's a lot of the fix and flipping is kind of off the plate right now because we're making just as much money at wholesaling and doing creative financing stuff. You taught me about creative financing, subject to, buying on subject to, and buying on terms, and that was a game changer for our business. That's
awesome. I appreciate you sharing that and for shouting us out there. Question, if any of you guys, by the way, I see hello to Laurie. Good to see you. Joan, good to see you. Bill, I think he's missed only 1 or 2 lives and he's watched the replays. Bill is one of our faithfuls. Leo says, let's go. Thank you, brother. Les says, hello and good afternoon, friends. Les is here every day. Les is amazing. Excited to see you soon, my friend. Laurie says, hey, it's the one and only David Selvin.
That's right.
Love that. All right, good. If you guys have questions for Mr. Prosperity as well, you can feel free to type them in as we're going down the lines here. So a little bit about you, a little bit about the background. Tell us a little bit, because I want to, in a moment, I want to get a little deeper, talk about like what drives Mr. Prosperity and the heart of it. But before we get there, I want to continue the conversation because so many times we underestimate what we have access to. And this comes down to all ways of life. Some people can go into a room of a event and leave going, crap, that event sucked. And then somebody else goes to the same event and goes, hey, I raised $1 million. That was an amazing event. Somebody goes to a room and hears a speaker and says, I didn't get nothing out of that. And somebody else goes, I got 4 new lead sources and 1 new deal contracted. And so it's a lot of what we make with it. And every one of you have this asset that is called your credit. And sometimes we view it as a liability. I know I did when I started because I had $80,000 of debt from a hospital stay and my score wasn't great. And I was self-employed, so my tax returns wasn't great. And starting out at 21, I didn't understand the gift that lies in not only personal credit, but business credit. Because if you have a business, you have or soon will have a entity, an LLC, and that business, once it proves itself to the all-knowing, all-being credit peoples, they tend to lend that business money. So I say it in that way on purpose because these are things a few years ago I had no idea existed. And now I find out over the last several years, and Mr. Prosperity's enlightened me to so many things in SBA loans and business credit lines and other things that I didn't know existed. So give us kind of a high-level overview of a rundown of what people should know about their credit and business credit. And then I want to go a little deeper and have some questions for you specifically.
So first off, I want to just say that credit is often looked at as like people put it on as a pinnacle, like I have an 850 and stick your chest out, and that's okay. And that's actually where everybody wants to be. Yet at the same time, like you said, it is a tool, meaning that you're utilizing it. So there's times that you might utilize your personal credit and your score may dip. And there's nothing wrong with that. And somebody who has an 850 is not better than, say, somebody who has a 550. You know, it's just a tool, and it's all about knowing how to utilize it for your benefits. Another tool in your real estate toolbox. So that's the first thing that I want to say in regards to credit. The next thing, I want to debunk a lot of the myths that you need to have your business in certain order to qualify for funding, right? Which you'll qualify for a lot of funding when your business becomes bankable and you put it in compliance and put it in a certain order. Yet at the same time, if your personal credit is at a certain level, you as a person could co-sign for your business entity. What does that mean? They're just going to check your personal credit. If you do default, they will come after you personally. Yet at the same time, none of that debt reports to your personal credit. So it's a great way when you're getting started and you're building the business out to stand on its own 2 feet that you could go ahead and get business funding. You fix your personal credit first to get to a level where you could qualify for the non-bankable business funding. Then you get that non-bankable business funding and you start building that out. And you could get an entity over here and say get 50 to 60,000. Then you could get an entity over here, get 50 to 60, and you could keep going like that because it's not reporting to your personal credit. So it's not new lines that are coming up, because anytime that you apply for new credit, then they stop you. They pump the brakes on you. They say, hold on, you got too much activity going on. They get a little scared and they don't want to give you any more credit. So the thing is that now this is reporting to your business. They don't see it on your personal. So there's little tools, there's ways to strategize. And the best thing is to get with somebody who really understands the game and strategize with them and let them help you.
Yeah, I think a couple of things you said there I want to lean into, and then I have some deeper questions for you. Because for me, you know, all of you who are listening to this, there's a habit I want you to develop as people of wealth. And that is do what you're good at, do what you do best, and then pay others to do what they do best. And something I remember, you know, before meeting Mr. Prosperity, I remember thinking like, this is my mindset years ago. Okay. So I remember being young, having an entity, and I'm like, I'll figure this out myself. I'll go apply myself. You know, I got this credit card approval in the mail. So I go and I ask, I mail it in and they turn me down. And I'm like, I thought I had my stuff together. Like, what's going on? Come to find out they didn't like P.O. boxes. They wanted a physical mailing address. Things like that Mr. Prosperity knows, because every entity is different. Every credit application is different. And so for those of you listening, regardless of the business you're in, that's something I want you to have as a frame of thought. Understanding what is an asset, and if you're taking notes, you should write it down. What is my high income skill? Because somebody's high income skill may be Mr. Prosperity's, and he can say, hey, I could help 10 people each get 300K, and then 300K times 10 people is $3 million. I just got access to $3 million for people, and then they may partner with him on deals.
That's right.
And so now by adding value to the marketplace around you, what is my high income skill? Some of you guys have incredible gifts of talking to people. Some of you guys listening to this have incredible gifts of coaching people or helping people in their health or helping people in their life or being a great listener. And so start to understand your superpowers and what your high income skill is. Now, question for you, and then I want to get to the heart of it a little more, but what is bankable mean? And is it theoretically that like I could create 10 entities over the next 3 years and get business credit lines on all 10 entities?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you don't have to wait until the business is bankable. You can get it done with as little as the entity being only 2 months old. So, there's different strategies, and that's why you got to get with somebody that really knows the game. Bankable just means that the business is now standing up on its own 2 feet. So you build the business out a certain way. There's certain compliances that lenders want to see. For example, the address is a big one. P.O. Box, it looks like a fly-by-night company. Just think about it, right? You just got to put yourself in the bank's shoes. If you lend somebody money and you don't know where they live, you don't know where their business is or anything, and it's a P.O. Box, when you want your money and you say, you know what, this guy's not paying me, I need to get my money, you're going to pull up to that address and see a P.O. box. You're going to say, oh, shoot, I messed up,
Yeah.
And the banks know and understand that now you're making yourself look like a fly-by-night company. Things like having, supremeinvestments@gmail.com instead of your business being Selvin@supremeinvestments.com. Things like that. It's little tiny nuances that you have to do to put your business in compliance. The NAICS code, that's a big one. A lot of people, they put themselves in the wrong category. When I got into real estate, I was into fixing and flipping. So they put me under property development, which was an extremely high risk business. It's considered speculative real estate. And so because of that, and I did very well in that business, made millions of dollars, yet at the same time, the banks looked at it as, whoa, this is scary business. And it's a lot of people will say, well, wait a second, I could get a loan for this property. I could get a hard money loan. So why would the bank not want to give me the business funding or business credit cards or things of that nature? It's because it's unsecured. A hard money loan or any kind of loan, it is collateralized with the real estate, meaning you don't pay. They take that property and they're taking it at pennies on the dollar of what they loaned you. So therefore they're winning. Whereas this is unsecured. You could do what you want with the money. You don't have to use it for that property. You can use it for your marketing. You can use it for different aspects of your business to push your business forward.
So I want to shift gears a little bit. And for everybody listening, by the end of today, and we'll put it up as well for the replay, we'll give you a way to contact David and have him, for those of you who want business credit funding, get you funded, or at least tell you what you qualify for in that regard. David is just a pro at that. And someone, by the way, this is something cool I learned a few years ago, but David can remove inquiries from your credit. A lot of people tell you wait 2 years and they fall off. He does some magic thing and removes inquiries. It's crazy. Now, I say that because every one of us, there's some things that could change our lives that we may not yet know. In other words, you see a skyscraper going up, you see $100 million development going up, and you think, my gosh, like that's freaking awesome, right? That person or people who are involved there knew how to put that deal together. That developer knew how to get it developed. I'm talking real estate. Somebody else is a personal trainer and has a massive brand with millions of followers. They found out how to build a brand. And so understanding that every day is an opportunity to learn, and you guys, I just so appreciate you being here every day with us as we're hanging out together and growing and with the new format. Something I want to shift gears on. I know Mr. Prosperity loves cigars, so I want to paint the picture. And let's say in my and Leo's this backyard at the studio, and let's say we're sitting out there and we're kicked back around a fireplace. It's evening time, and you're smoking a cigar, maybe sipping a cup of coffee or whatever your preferred drink choice is. What is some things that drive Mr. Prosperity? What is the thing that is so meaningful to you in life right now?
Number one is my family, my wife and my children. That is number one for me. I do anything for them. As weird as this may sound, because a lot of my mentors, a lot of gurus that I listen to online, a lot of them say your why has to be you. But without my family, without my wife, I really wouldn't care about much. I'm a simple guy, but that's number one. Second is my cars. I love cars.
I love that. Tell us about your cars.
Well, I'm into as you know, Andrew, I'm into the lowrider cars, the hydraulic cars. We make them hop and bounce and all of that stuff. So, I have a nice Impala that hopefully it'll be finally finished put together next month. And I've had that car for a very long time. We fully restored it, every single nut and bolt. Then it was a show car. I mean, the under of the car is all dipped in chrome, and there's over 30, 40,000 just in under the car. Like, because we would take it to the car shows and put the mirrors under there. We put it in the magazines. And, but most people that have those kind of cars, anybody who's listening that's a car guy know, most people, they take it out of the garage, put it on a trailer, take it to the car show off the trailer and back on the trailer. They don't drive those cars because there's so much money in it. You could damage some stuff. Well, I was the knucklehead that said, no, I got to enjoy this. And I would drive it everywhere. So I tore up a lot of things on it. And so now we took the whole car back apart, what my friends did at the shop, and they're putting it back together for me. We redid a lot of stuff. And so that one's cool. And then I have a nice Cadillac that I do the same thing with.
I love that. What's something you're really excited about over the next 12 months?
I'm really excited about scaling to the next level with both my businesses. We got a lot of good things in the works. We got just had a meeting last week with a new bank that we're aligning ourselves with. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity for me to help a lot of people, get them a lot of money, a lot of funding. And this is the difference between you go and apply online and say you getting a small amount of money, and somebody like myself who knows the underwriters, who knows the managers at the banks and things like that, and have that relationship. Just like in real estate, everything is just all about the relationship.
Something all of you listening to this know, if you've been around me for very long, is people of wealth pay for access. There is power in relationship banking. At times I pay tremendously higher numbers of interest on projects just because of relationships and the relationships that it builds. And I say that, I don't mean stupid business. I don't mean losing money. I mean that in terms of knowing the right people who know the right people to pull the right places and pull the right levers. Now, getting into that a little more. And again, for those of you guys watching, listening, we'll make sure you can get a hold of Mr. Prosperity, because many of you I know are going to want to work with him and Yasmin in their funding business and get access to capital. By the way, just seeing in the chat, who here, if you had access to an extra few $100,000 of interest-free capital, could use a few $100,000? Give me a yes in the chat. Let's see who's awake and alive. Thank you guys for being here. Something that I want to ask you, Mr. Prosperity, and this, I believe this next segment, guys, is going to be the most impactful. And every one of you who is hearing this live in replay, get ready for this final segment, this final tranche of today's podcast, because when I started to learn the things that I'm going to ask Mr. Prosperity about right now, it changed my perspective in a major way. First off, Where did Mr. Prosperity start, and how did that turn you into who you are today?
Well, I was a knucklehead as a child. So we could take it all the way back to me being a child. I came from decent family. My parents got divorced and things got really, really rough on my mom, where we were broker than broke. We were just like super broke. And, so I always aspired to be rich. I didn't care what I did. I just wanted money. And so that kind of mindset started taking me down the wrong path with street life and gangs and drugs and things like that. And so I grew up like that and got in a lot of trouble until I realized that didn't serve me anymore. When my son was just a little bitty boy, I made a lot of money doing that stuff. And my son was a little bitty boy. And I looked over at him and I'm turned up the music. I'm in one of my lowriders and I'm leaning to the side and I look over at him and he's leaning to the side. And I said, whoa, anything I do, he's gonna do. He's watching me. So I got to be careful of my actions. And that was the turning point for me to want to change my life. And that's when I decided to change my life. And just so happens, coincidence happens, I met a real estate guy. And I was like, what kind of job can I do where I can still live this lifestyle that I have without doing the stuff I was doing? Because I didn't want to be away from my family. I know that there's two ends to that. It's either you go to jail for a very long time or you could die, If somebody robs you, you die, you get killed, whatever. I didn't want any parts of that. And so luckily I met this real estate guy in the Bay Area. And he asked me to come to a meetup. We hit it off. And I went. It was actually not even a meetup. It was like a party where he bought out the bar. So I was like, okay, I'm vibing. And I started meeting a lot of people there that were just living life on another level. And that's when I said, okay, I'm going to use real estate as a vehicle to get me there. And that's how I stumbled across the business funding, because I started taking courses in real estate and seminars and things of that nature. And I would say, okay, what do? You pull out your phone and you start calling everybody, asking them for money when you get a deal. Because I'm like, where am I going to get the money for the deal? And he's like, this is what you do. So I'm like, okay. I started going through my phone and I'm like, they broke. Wait, they got a lot of money. And then I call them and they would say, yeah, I got you. But the money was in the shoebox. You can't do that. I don't want no parts of that. I don't want to get in any more trouble. So that's when I started becoming resourceful. I started figuring out a way to be resourceful and saying, how can I do this? I didn't want to give up. And I started learning that, okay, maybe I should fix my credit. I thought I had to get like a traditional loan too and things like that. So I started fixing my credit and became really good at that, started learning that. And then I stumbled across business funding and business credit, and the rest is history.
I love that. You're a very resourceful person. And I trust that's another takeaway for everyone on here, is that people of wealth don't say, can I? We say, how do I? That's right. And that's something that I see across the board with my friends who run successful businesses. And I know, David, you do a lot of deals, you and your family in your business in multiple locations. You have the business credit funding, helping a lot of people, and you just impact so many people in so many ways. And I want to ask you two final questions. But for everybody listening, David's the type of guy who last Thanksgiving donated many dozens, maybe hundreds, I don't remember the number, of turkeys to families in need.
150.
150.
We fed 150 families.
150 families. I share that because every one of us, I love generous people. I'm the same way. We attract people who are like us. And for all of you listening to this, it's never enough, because it doesn't have to be about us. It's about who we can serve and how we can level up. And that's my prayer with different business owners and perspectives coming, because Mr. Prosperity is different. Business is vastly different than mine, and Leo's business is vastly different than somebody else who we're going to have on here. And I want to share that with you because every personality is different. Every business model is different. But the beautiful thing, I'm sold on real estate investing because you can be the money person and you can make money from that anywhere in the world. You can be the person who holds the properties and make money from that anywhere in the world. You can be the person who, I don't suggest it, but fix and flips like I used to do. You can be the person who does this virtually. You can do it in your own backyard, but it serves as such a great foundation. And then you can live your purpose more fully. You can travel. You can do the things you want to do or launch the business that you always wanted to launch, but it gets to be fed on a foundation that is sustainable and duplicatable. And so that's my spiel on real estate. For all of you listening to this, I want to, well, first, for everybody's benefit, Mr. Prosperity, what's something that you often get asked or a word of wisdom that you want to share with everybody?
Well, I just want to add on to what you're saying is that a lot of people, we get stuck in that trap that we have to work for money, and we should work for enjoyment and, have other streams of income for money to feed us, and we sometimes fall into that loop. I fall into that sometimes too. And you got to remind yourself, like, hold on, we're not supposed to work for money. We're supposed to, this life by design, this is supposed to just be a vehicle to do something bigger and better that we want to do with our lives, So that's what came to my came to my head as you said that. That was my thought.
What's something that you do that would inspire someone else on here who might be going through a tough time? What's a habit to overcome tough times?
Well, number one is surround yourself around positive people, around the right people. There's been plenty of times, no matter how much success you got, if you're somebody who strives for excellence, you may be at this level here, right? But you're trying to get to this level here. So as you're climbing that mountain to get to this level here, you're going to get hit with some challenges, right? But eventually you're going to get to this level. Now, people down here are looking up to you like you're a success. But inside, you're trying to get to this level here. So you're still feeling like, I'm not a success, right? So the best thing to do about that is, one, have mentors, have coaches, and surround yourself around people that understand that are moving in the same direction as you. My family is not necessarily blood, right? I mean, I have my family that I was, born with and things like that. My family is those moving in the same direction as me. And that's one thing to keep in mind. So that's the first thing that I do. The next thing I do is, when you see something going wrong, it's a bad habit. Sometimes you just got to pause, take a step back and say, okay, what am I doing wrong? How do I correct this? And that's important. Right. So everybody on the call, just think of that. And I was talking with Kirk Dixon, another mastermind member of the Truca family earlier, and he said, great book, Who, I think it was Who, Not How, right? So you don't have to know everything. You got to just say, all right, I got this challenge. I got this going on. Who do I know that can help me fix this? And then you just reach out to that person. It's that simple. It's that simple.
That's some good advice. I appreciate that. And I know for those of you watching the replay, I know if this is posted up anywhere on the replay that it will be there. But for anybody listening to this, how should they reach out to you?
Go to guaranteedcreditlines.com. You can book a consult. I think you might have a link too, Andrew. I don't know. I can't put a link in the chat. But guaranteedcreditlines.com. You can just put your information in there, and we will reach out. My team will schedule you on my calendar, and I will sit down with you, and we'll see how we can strategize, how we can help you. And just look at your situation as a whole. And don't think that, a lot of the misconceptions is that I don't have a 750 FICO or 800 FICO, so I'm not going to qualify. My FICO is a 500, 550. That's fine, but there's programs where you might be a 550 FICO, but you might also be bringing in 50K in gross revenue in your business every single month. There's programs for people like you. So it's just all about sitting down, strategizing, and seeing what's there for you.
I love that. Go to the website that David just said, guaranteedcreditlines.com, right?
Correct.
And Leo knows how to put that up on the screen, but I've not learned that yet, so I'll get there. Thank you so much for being here today, Mr. Prosperity. Thank you to everybody who's listening. live or the replay. And we'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time with Real Estate Live, and next Tuesday with another great podcast and another great guest. Thank you so much, and thank you, Mr. Prosperity.
Thank you for having me. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
See you soon, brother.
All right. Bye-bye.